Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key, babe. That's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening and welcome. It's still Thursday, the 26th of December, and happy belated Christmas. Christmas was just a day ago, and now we're getting close to New Year's Eve. And I know a lot of you are suffering because you're not with your children. Some of you had promises made that you see them over Christmas. You had presents that were taken away and so forth. Good evening, Betty, and welcome. Betty is from Montana, and she has a case in Nebraska with her brother and his girl. And so she's been on the show, and I'm glad to welcome you, Betty. Anyway, I had a little difficulty, more so getting on, because it took me almost 15 minutes to get onto the podcast, only because my computer somehow is not recognizing my mouse, my keyboard. I'm going to go into the computer store again tomorrow. They thought they fixed it yesterday or the day before, but no such luck. And it's very, very, very hard when you have a computer. I think it's the motherboard. I think the way it sits on my lap or the way it moves might have something to do with it. I don't know. I looked to the computers with experts. In fact, I even paid a lot of money last Sunday. I got another appointment this Sunday to redo what they didn't do. So hopefully I can get it to go in there. But anyway, you've come to the right place. I want to give a warm welcome to you all. And I hope and pray that I can help you with some ideas. I've developed this podcast into a family of many people that come in here all the time. There's probably a close to maybe 20 or 30 people that are regulars here, and I'm glad you do come. Because this podcast is put on by Mr. Davis. He's the attorney, or his law firm, Vince W. Davis, puts it on, and he's my attorney, and he is the person behind this. But he's asked me to be a podcast host because I know I've been fighting for 15 years, and I too was in the case. with CPS. They are a very troublesome agency. I'm pretty sure that Betty can tell you that also. So there are 4 ways to interact with my podcast, which I'll get to you in a moment. But I do want to emphasize, you found me on Facebook. I'm glad you did. Fighting CPS Bob Pace. Now, you're in this room, so please check below. You want to follow me or you want to be notified, check below. And then also emojis are nice. That's where you can give thumbs up, smiley faces, or stars. So those are the things you can do in my room there. And while we're talking, I'm going to put up my first message here. As soon as I can find my mouse finds the spot. There you go. That is when you're texting messages, please read that. That's the second way you can interact with this podcast. Now, I'm on 7 days a week, twice a day. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and on the evening, 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. There are 2 days I come on a little bit early in the morning. That is Saturday and Sunday. I'm on at 8 o'clock on Saturday and 8 o'clock on Sunday. Saturday, Vincent has his weekly podcast on Saturday at 10:30, so I want to give him ample time for his podcast. And then on Sunday, I go to church in the morning, so I like to start early on Sunday. So anyway, I know you have probably a lot of questions, and so what I ask you is that when typing in a text message, either a comment or question about CPS, please list your first name, your city or county that the case was in, and if you're in another city yourself, that also list the state. Now, if you're from another country, please list your province and your country. Now, I know that you're probably wondering why we have countries. Well, this is the international podcast. I'm heard around the world. I have people from Bangladesh, from India, from the Middle East. I got several countries from the Middle East, and I got 5 countries from Africa. Then I go up to Europe, and I have about 7 countries from Europe, and then across the pond to North America, and I have 3 countries in North America and 1 country down in South America. Then we go across Pacific. I have New Zealand and Australia. And those are people besides all 50 states that have texted in or called in. Now, there's been 5 ladies from South Africa, and one of them, Leica, has actually called in using area code 27. It was really kind of her to do that about her case. And she had a very difficult case with a difficult government agency. You see, CPS, I call, stands for the Child Protection System. It's a government agency, but in every county, every state, and around the world, it may have a different name. But if I use CPS, everyone knows what CPS is. And it's a branch of social services in the United States that's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. And they're also supposed to help out a family in need. If, for instance, if you need food or shelter or clothing or transportation, or maybe you need medical help or education for the children yourself, or maybe also they're supposed to help you find a job. That's another thing they're supposed to do. And if they need to take your family apart, break them apart because your children are in immediate danger, they're supposed to do family reunification, where they put the family together. The parents can take particular parent classes or programs to get their act together. But the goal is to put them back together. But unfortunately, in 1997, President Bill Clinton signed in a new act in CPS that basically is the Incentive Act, where it gives extra money to the Child Protection Agency for putting kids into foster care and discourages the reunification. And that's sad because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents to watch your kids. Now, besides texting a message to me, either comment or questions, you can also be a guest on my podcast. And I have somebody else that just came in the room. Let's see what happened here. Just notify me. Okay, Betty has a question. Let me go ahead and put it up there, Betty. I'm so sick that to tell me I can't give my niece her Christmas present. I think that's terrible. I don't know what the justification is about that, Betty, but that is wrong. That is totally wrong. That should not be the case. Any of you parents that have Christmas presents for the kids, they should be able to give to the foster care or the child protection. And I would go up the ladder to higher ups and ask the manager or the director of the child protection system why you can't give your child a Christmas gift. So that's wrong, Betty. And I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. I really am sorry to hear about that. Now I'm talking about a third way of interacting with this podcast, and that's to be a guest. I have room for 9 or more people that can be a guest on my podcast. And with that being said, all you have to do is pick one of my 14 shows and email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. She's my show producer. She helps me in a lot of ways, and I give much thank you to her. But email her, and she'll give you the link to get on what's called the StreamYard application. I'm broadcast on YouTube, but I use the StreamYard application. So I strongly recommend that you be a guest, because that way you can explain to it. I know we've had some recent people guest before, so that's good there. Now, the fourth way to be interacting with this podcast is to call in. Now, I just put my number up, and my number is 626-698-0990. That means you can call me on my phone, and I use Vonage for phone application. And I can take your message and put you on speakerphone, and everybody in the room can hear you, and you can help out other people, or maybe ask a question, and we can help you. It's real easy to do that, to put you on there. Now, there's a second number on there, 888-888-6582. That's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis Associates. You can call in, make sure you mention my name, Bob Pace, and if you speak to Mr. Davis, mention my name. You can call him and retain him if you want a good family juvenile dependency attorney. He has over 39 years of fighting in CPS and getting the children back. He's also a trial attorney. Furthermore, he can do civil lawsuits. Once your case is over and closed, then he can help you file a lawsuit because your violation of your civil rights or your constitutional rights were lied on. Mine was where a caseworker lied on the stand and committed perjury. Anyway, he can do that. So when you're looking for an attorney, that's my rule number 1, you want to make sure you ask 2 questions. The first question is, are you a juvenile family dependency attorney who's fought CPS and gotten back children? If the answer is yes, the next question you should ask is, have you ever done a civil lawsuit, either in state court or federal court, and won millions of dollars against CPS? If the answer is yes, you got yourself a good attorney. And that is one of 3. You should always try to get 3 quotes. And as I say, you need an attorney. And you're probably going to sit there and say, well, I got a court order attorney. Why do I need a real attorney? Well, the court order attorney isn't trained in dependency or family law or juvenile law. They're only trained in criminal law. They're paid by the CPS, so there's a conflict of interest. Plus, they have a caseload of 30 more clients. They can't defend your case that well. They can't even meet with you outside of the courtroom, or you can visit them where it is. They just don't have the time. So it's really bad news if you're forced to use a court-appointed attorney. I know you may be out of money. With my case, I quick sell my home so I get the money to give Vincent Davis so that I could have him work for me and get back my children. I had 3 children that were taken from me. They weren't in danger. They were in school at the time. And they were put in danger, and they were hurt. And it was sad because it was really wrong what they did. And so I hired Mr. Davis after selling my home, and he got back 2 of my 3 children. I'm afraid to say that my youngest daughter there, who was 12 at the time, was told by the social worker, who was caught on the stand in perjury, and she wanted to retaliate because we made her look so bad. And so she instructed our daughter to emancipate from the parents. I mean, divorce the parents, divorce her 3 brothers, divorce her 2 sisters, divorce her grandparents, divorce her aunts and uncles, and so forth. And she changed the name completely. She had a beautiful middle name, Hanalei. It's a place in Kauai that I think is like the Garden of Eden, and I wanted her to have that special name. Furthermore, she sealed her birth certificate so that she could not have us as parents. She wanted to have her foster care parents on her birth certificate. Then she got a Social Security card, and now she's getting double money from Social Security. That stopped when you turn 18. But when she was 12 to 18, she was double dipping Social Security. She was getting my Social Security money that I get for children having children after the age of 60, and they give me more of my money that they deducted. So she was getting that money, plus she got the new Social Security card. So she was doubling her money, and that's wrong. If Social Security knew about it, she would be in trouble. So would the new foster care parents would be. But a lot of these things you don't find out in the beginning. So it's one of those crazy things there. Hi, Margaret King. I know you're from Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome again. You've been on here pretty good twice a day with me. So glad you're on here, Margaret. And anyway, I was talking a little bit about my case and how sad it is because I'm a family man. I have 42 years of marriage. I've raised 8 children or helped raise 8 children. I have 3 in their teens. 1 in the teens, 2 in the 20s, 2 in the 30s, and 1 in the 40s. So they all range. And 3 of their children are very successful, understand, that's gotten jobs and so forth. And my daughter that's 12 is now 22, but she still won't see us. She still won't talk to us. So anyway, I'm a family of 4, and I love my 2 boys. I have the most beautiful boys. I cannot tell you enough how important it is to have them in my life. Both of them are in college. Both of them are doing well. So that's good to say. And thank you, Margaret, for the smiley face. I love that. You're sweet. I've been doing this show twice a day for over a year. I've talked to over 800 people. And that's a lot of people to talk to. And I try to remember them all, but sometimes not seeing them in a while. But they'll stop by and say how things are going or what I told them worked. I do have 5 rules that do work. I wish I knew those rules because I would never have lost my children and never gone through all this mess. And as I say, rule number 1 is getting an attorney, the right attorney, because that will save you a lot of headaches. You need someone that knows how to navigate and work against the CPS. They are the hardest agencies to deal with. It's like open heart surgery. You're trying to do work on the heart. That's what it is to fight CPS. They lie, they cheat, they're not honest. Their whole goal is totally different than family reunification. I mean, it was really, really, really tough in our case. And so I've developed these 5 rules, such as get an attorney. And, that is so important to have that attorney because you need someone that knows the laws and can represent you. Also, my rule number 2 is to get a notebook and organize all your paperwork. You need to put subject tabs and get a REMA college rule notebook paper so you can take notes. One of the most important documents in there is called the incident time log. It's where you list all the incidents you've been involved with. Start with the oldest first. And all you do is you put the date, the time, the location, the people involved on the first line. In the second line, you put a sentence that summarized what the incident was about. And the third line, you put the outcome of what the incident was about. If you don't have an outcome, leave it blank, skip a space, and start the next incident. That instance can become so valuable because a year from now, you're not going to remember it. And I mean incidents with the school, with the police, with the social worker, with the relatives, or whatever the incident was. You write it down so that you have it all there. Now, I do want to go back to my listeners now because before I move on to rule number 3, let's see what Margaret now has said. Margaret says, I had 3 sons. One is in heaven. God bless your son in heaven. That's beautiful. You had 3 sons. Wow. Now, Betty says, sending you altos of prayers and hugs. Thank you. I need all the prayers and hugs. I really do. It's really important because, I'm a family man. I love a family. I want to help you. You are my family. I spend Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve day. I spend the whole year with you guys. I care so much about you. I want to help you. I want to help you. Now, Betty further says, that's for Margaret King. Okay. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Betty. Betty was making a comment to you, Margaret. She was sending you altos of prayers and hugs. That was meant for Margaret of St. Louis, Missouri. And that was sweet of you, Betty. And see what Margaret has to say now. Thank you, Betty, Margaret says. That's great. She got it. She got it, Betty. You're a good woman, Betty. And Bob, you're sweet. You're sweet, Betty. You're very, very sweet. I'm so glad that both of you, Margaret and Betty, are in my room. Now, I don't know where the rest of people are, so I'll continue with my rules really quick here. I'm trying to get them out of the way because I like to do things that talk about you guys and what you need to do and so forth. Now, the third rule that I have is that you want to say no to social workers and police. You don't want to open the door, and you certainly don't want to let them in your life. You don't want to give up your children. When they come a knocking, don't answer the door. In fact, you shouldn't answer the door at all because you can be shot dead in your tracks, as happened to so many parents who've opened the door. So many, even a Air Force black man at 23 was shot point blank in the chest. He's dead now. A lot that does good to the Air Force. He was talking to his girlfriend FaceTime when the sheriff shot him, and that was sad. The sheriff's been fired and he's being sued, but that doesn't bring back the airmen. All it was a mistaken apartment for domestic violence. He was at the wrong place. There was another one about a black woman that was shot in the face by a sheriff, and she's dead. I don't know what this thing about 5 rounds of shooting somebody is. I wish a sheriff would call in and talk to me how they work with the CPS, because it's really sad that people have to die for that. A Korean lady was killed by 2 policemen. She had some difficulties, and they did not know that, so they shot her dead. So that's all by answer the door. So my rule is don't answer the door. If it's that important, they will call you or they'll leave a business card or an envelope for you. You don't have to answer the door. Because you never know what's out there. You never know what's going to go happen. And, if they tell you outside, let us in, you say, I can't. I need to have my attorney present. And you can also say, do you have a warrant? They're always going to lie that they have a warrant, but a warrant is the only thing that they can see you and talk to you and so forth. You don't want to talk to social workers, and you certainly don't want to meet them at their office. What you want to do if you see a social worker outside is take their name and say you and your attorney will get a hold of them. But you don't want to. You want to tell them you have an attorney, and you want to get them notified so they can help you when you're talking to them, because they'll trick you. They'll take everything you say and use against you. So you really don't want to see that happening. Now, Margaret says another comment. When the CPS worker came at my house, she helped herself inside and questioned everybody. I wasn't home. You see, that's another thing. You need to tell people they're guests in your home or live in your home, don't answer the door. You don't know what's lurking out there. It could be a policeman that will shoot you to death, or it could be a social worker that will use what they see in your home against you or take your children. So my rule number 3 is you don't. You say no to social workers. And it's easy. When you talk to a social worker, get their name, see their ID because they'll lie about their name, and tell them that you'll have your attorney meet with them. But don't meet at their office. Don't meet your home. Try to pick a neutral spot like McDonald's or Starbucks. That's a good meeting place. That way people are around and you can take pictures and stuff with that. It all depends on the state there, but they don't like that, but that's, to me, is recommended. So, and you can do a settlement conference. You want to try that first before it goes to trial. Ask for a settlement conference. Ask for a settlement conference. Not all states do it. But if you ask for a settlement conference, you can avoid going to trial. Also, you can suggest a family member that can take care of your child while you need to correct something for CPS or while you have to fight CPS. You do not want them to lay their hands on the child. It's $1 trillion business, CPS now, and all they do is they make money, and that's all they care about is money. Oh, wow. I already put that up for Margaret. So now Margaret has a new message. I'm trying to keep up with you, Margaret. Margaret from St. Louis, Missouri, and she knew I was not home because she had just left the hospital and met with my daughter and I, they're very tricky. They're very tricky. They're sleaze bags. They lie, they cheat, they don't tell the truth. They're very tricky. They'll use you and they will hurt your children. Foster care is not nice. It's real easy to adopt a kid. All you have to do is be a foster care parent. In 6 months' time, you're a foster care parent. But if you really want to adopt a child, it takes years and a lot of money. You have to go through agencies and so forth and be vetted and checked out. So I'm telling you, you got to be careful. You really do. Yes, social workers are sneaky. They're liars. They distort the truth. They're not transparent. They're very greedy. All they think about is money. Now, Betty or Margaret, if you want to call in, my phone line is there. You can talk. I think Margaret has called in before, and Betty too. My niece called me to inform me that there was a social worker at my door. I rushed home. Oh boy. Oh boy, that is tough. That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. A social worker at your door. That is wrong. That is wrong. That's wrong. But anyway, you can call in right now. My show is open, and I'd love to have you talk instead of me talk. I know you guys are pretty getting tired of me. Now, I was talking about rule number 3, and we're saying not to talk to social workers, not let them in your home, and not let them take your children. There are 3 ways they can get into your home or take your children. One way is you give them permission, or someone else, a lizard, gives them permission. Instruct your family members, do not give permission. Instruct your family members not to answer the door. If it's important, they'll leave a card or an envelope on your door, or they'll call you. You have a phone number. If it's important, they will contact you. Now, Betty says something right now. Betty says, why would they send mom's family members paperwork asking them if they would that child, and didn't send anything to the father's family members? I agree. They have a stigma about fathers. They always seem to talk to the mothers, but the fathers, they don't want to go. They think the fathers are always bad, strung out on drugs, molesting the children. I agree with you, Betty. That should go to both parents, not just one. Margaret says, I don't think anyone realizes how awful it is unless they're actually going through this mess. I know. No one knows until you go through it. And it is a mess. Betty says, to take care of the child. Yes, I agree. Now, Betty or Margaret, you guys can call in. My number is 626-698-0990. Love to hear from you. Now, we're halfway through the show, and we've accomplished a lot. But I hope that someone will call in, because it'd be better if someone did. Now, keep in mind, if you're a guest on my podcast and you talk, or you call into my phone and you're a guest and talk, then you are entitled to a 15-minute session with Vincent Davis. That's a private Zoom call. Mr. Davis, he goes over everything. That's either when you call in or you're a guest, and you get 15 minutes, and that's free consultation. Now, if you notice at the bottom of the screen, a ticket's running, that means that there's another way you can buy some time with Vincent. He's offering $30 for $60. 30 minutes for $60. 30 minutes for $60. All you have to do is go to the website that's going across the bottom of my screen. When you go to that website, pay the $60 with your credit card and register for a 30-minute private session with Mr. Davis, a Zoom private session. Let me catch up on my messages. Okay, I already talked about that one. Now, Margaret further says, I'm going to call in a couple minutes. Good, Margaret. I'm glad if you do. It helps, gives me a spiel so people hear my voice all the time. And what is Betty going to say? What happened when you complete the course? Oh, that is from Lisha Israel. Where are you from, Lisha Israel? Glad to have you and welcome. What course you talking about? If you complete a program or a parenting class, you get a certificate. It helps you. They help get your kids through reunification. And I'm so glad that you joined us. Ishay, Israel. Yes, you can call. Right now, my phone number is up. I'll take your message down and you can call. That's my number, 626-698-0990. That's the number you want to call. And then you can talk about your case. Let's see what Ishay said here. Oh, you're from Florida. Great. What part of Florida are you from? I'd like to know what city or county in Florida you're from. Okay, I disappeared. My computer's acting up again. And so, what did Ishay say? CPS, yes. You can call. This is all about CPS, Ishay. I have the number up there. It's 626-698-0990. And see what else you say, Ishay. It's busy. Hold on a second. Let me find out why it's busy. It should not be busy because I am not on the phone. Hold on. Let me check it right now. You're sure you're calling the right number because there's nothing missed there. The last call I had was yesterday, but it's 626 698 0990. That's the number on the screen. You should call that. It should not be busy because I'm not on the phone. Yeah, I'm not on the phone, so it should work. It should not be busy. Let's see what else she said. Try again. If you give me your number, I can call you if you're not getting through. You can give me your number if you're not getting through. I don't understand why it's not working there. You call me at my number, 626 698 0990. Hold on a second. I think I'm giving you the wrong number. I'm sorry. It's 698 0990. That should work. That should work. Here we go. Hello and welcome. Is this Ishay?
Yes, ma'am.
Glad to meet you. I'm sorry you had such a difficult time to come in to my podcast.
Oh, it's okay. I was calling because what happened is back in March 26th, my kids were taken away.
Oh, how terrible. That was of this year?
Yes. They were taken away. Basically, what happened is I called the police on my 14-year-old son, and he was smoking and vaping in my home. And I ran upstairs, and one morning, and I was like, what is you smoking? So I called the police on him. And then I got tired of calling the police, so I called like an older person to help me, which was my grandmother. My grandmother stated to him that it was okay for him to smoke weed.
Whoa.
He ran away from over there. Now, I didn't have him from the 21st through the 24th. No, through the 25th. They actually had him like 4 or 5 days. So the police went over there. I tried to get him back on the 24th. The police went over there to my dad's sister's house, and they had tried to get him, but he ran away from over there. So I got him back on the 25th. Do you know the 26th they came to my house? I actually got him back. I'm going to rewind that. I got him back at 8:40 that night. Do you know on the 26th, my kids was taken as soon as they woke up? They didn't never have any bruises or anything. They charged me with a 3rd-degree felony with no evidence. They just said that they just believe I did it.
Did what?
They came in my home.
What did you get?
Abused my children.
Oh, you abused your children. And who is accusing that? The policemen or the social workers?
The social worker, but mind you, the social worker she was basically encountered with my sister. She took my sister's children prior to this, like a year prior to this.
So this is kind of the inside. This is, see, first of all, and I hate to say this, you should never call CPS because it's more trouble than it's worth. If you have a 14-year-old son.
No, I didn't call CPS.
I know you didn't.
Police to get.
Well, yeah, when you call the police, they call the social workers right away. If it involves,
I didn't know.
Yeah, if it involves young children, for instance, most people call 911. The operator asks you, what's the problem? And you'll say, my 14-year-old child is smoking weed. Right away, they're going to alert CPS because he's a minor. They will call the police, but the police will also notify the social workers because, they don't know what to believe. And the sad part is they're very corrupt. And what part of Florida are you talking about? Clearwater?
Margo.
Okay. That gets really bad. I know that Gainesville is really bad. I just didn't know. I try to know all the cities and counties. But
well, they put me in jail. So when they came on the 26th, they put me in the back of the police car. Never read me my rights. They stated to me that I wasn't going to jail. They just needed to put me in the back of the police car because my children were scared of me. So they ended up taking me away. So as I was in jail that night, I didn't have a charge to the next day. I got on bond. My bond was $10,000. Do you know I got on bond for $100? That's how I knew something was sketchy. Now, I go to trial. I didn't even accept any of the charges because y'all don't have no evidence against me. I never put my hands on my children.
Right.
My son is mad because I won't allow him to smoke weed, to vape in my home, and to do what he want to do. I feel like I'm in school right now. I've been in school for like 2 years for a mortician. I have to keep an eye on him because I have younger children. And it's like who to call. You don't know who to call, who to trust. You know what I'm saying? I was only calling the police on myself so he can get, so the cops can talk to him. But the police out here is nasty, and it's a racist game going on out here. Now, I'm going to take it to trial because at the end of the day, I have no evidence on me. I never put my hands on my children. It was no blood or anything. They just took pictures of my kids and stated they were scared of me.
Wow. I have a regular person that is from Brooklyn, New York. Her name is KK Richardson Akima. And she sent a message to you. She says, once you have a prior CPS case, they, in any part of Florida, you're going to be have a criminal history, and they'll put them together and they'll make it a criminal as well as domestic charge against you. You see, the database of CPS keeps all the information. For instance, if you're a foster child and you're in and out foster care child for most of your young life, they'll keep that record. So when you have children, they'll come after you and take your children away. I know that for a fact.
What was so crazy is my sister's children. Well, this is what I kind of figured. What you just said was correct because my oldest sister child got taken. My older sister's children got taken. Then the same CPS worker took my other sister's children, Rachel Bloomfield. Then she turned around and take my children. Now, this is why they believe I did it because the same CPS worker been working on my whole family. She knows my family.
Yeah, that's the problem is that it's all, they don't care. They just want to make money. And that's all they're interested in. KK Richardson further said, if you have it to trial, whenever the call is from Florida, make sure you have a paid attorney is what KK is saying.
I do have a paid attorney,
Yeah.
and my son is out here robbing. Do you know, it's so crazy because all the things that I tried to stop him from doing, now he's breaking in people's houses. He got 4 warrants out for his arrest. The state's attorney's lied to me and said he still want to press charges, but mind you, they don't know where my son at. The police been coming to my house looking for him and everything. Mind you, I don't know where my son at. My son been ran away. So the state's attorney saying they still talking to my son and everything. They've been telling the story the whole time because my son been a runaway for a while. My son has broken into several people's houses. Do you know I don't pay people back? Since the state don't took my kids, my son has been out of control. He's on pictures with guns, everything. Like, I don't pay 2 people back ever since the state don't took my kids. All my kids are being jumped on, abused. Do you know CPS don't even answer the phones at all? They don't answer the phones. I got 2 paid lawyers. One of my dependency lawyers, he stated he don't know. If I ask him, I say, well, why they don't answer the phone? He stated to me, well, he don't know what else to do.
They see what happens when you call in. Your number has an ID and CPS has sophisticated phones. They know who calls in. That's why they won't answer the phone.
Right.
They have sophisticated phones. And that's why. I'm so sorry, ma'am, that you're going through this. KK is further saying that there is a connection between past CPS cases and their current one. And there's a familiar history, and the social worker is the same. Now, Betty is from Montana, says you can ask for a new caseworker. If that caseworker is corrupt, you can ask for a new caseworker. You can replace it.
I did that already. I went down there and filed grievances. I filed 3-4 grievances, and I have also called different states.
Right.
And I have got nowhere. Like, all my certificates, none of them was filed with the courts. So basically what they're trying to do now, my dependency lawyer told me that they're trying to take my children, even though I have completed the courses.
Right. So where's the father with your children? Where's he involved? What's he involved with?
None of my children's fathers involved.
Are they deadbeat dads who just left as soon as they got you pregnant?
They sorry. Like, my son, dad, he did all of this to get his child, and then found out he couldn't get off of child support a week before. As soon as they took my children, a week after that, he went to child support and tried to file to get off of child support. Mind you, he owes me $400,998, but he wants to get off of child support. But my son, he let my son run away, go break in other people's houses, and I'm responsible for everything that he have done.
Wow.
CPS don't know any of this. My son walk around with big guns on him. It's nothing, and I can't even go near my son. I can't even go 500 feet within my son.
Well, I don't want to say cruel and mean, but your son's got to learn the hard way. And if he keeps going, I know you're trying your best, but without a father, part of that, I don't know if you have a boyfriend that could be a father to your children, but parents need both parents. Children need both parents. It's so hard being a single mom, bringing up children. I know of people that are single parents, and it's very hard to bring up a child.
It's not really hard. It's what you make it. Because right now, I'm so close to graduating. I have 1 semester before my clinicals. I'm getting ready to graduate as a mortician. So it's not really hard. It's what you make it. It's sometimes in a new era, these children want to jump off the wind. But like the Bible states that the air of the principalities is the air is the problem, and the air is the problem of the children. The atmosphere. That's why they acting out. My son wants to do whatever he wants to do, but it's sad to say that I have to let him learn the hard way. But at the end of the day, I'm still his mother, and at the end of the day, I still have to pay these people back. You don't want to come home one day and your house broke into my child did it. That would hurt me.
I know. That's the sad part about it. It really is.
And then it's like DCF they don't care about us. They take our kids and they put them there and they leave them there and don't even call these kids. Make sure they're okay. These CPS workers are Pharisees. That's what the hell they are.
Well, I know they're.
I'm at a point like.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I'm convinced that CPS workers are bad. I mean, there's a case in Prescott, Arizona, where 8 white social workers, women, decided to buy pink T-shirts, and on the front they stenciled their professional child kidnappers, and on the back they say, "Parents, do you know where your children are?" And that was in 2022. So what I'm saying is the message is quite clear. They're professional child kidnappers, and they don't care because they get the money. There's so much incentives. When my kids were taken, they were getting $20,000 per child. 3 of them, that's $60,000 per month they're getting. And it's sad.
And they are compulsive liars, man.
They are.
And when I tell you, they did everything for me. If it wasn't for me going to school and keep going to school, I wouldn't have been able to make it. Because mind you, nobody wants to. Mind you, I just was working for the government. I was just working for Job Corps. I lost my job. And my public defender was like, why won't you just take this charge? Because you're poor. You're black. So ain't nobody going to help you. So I've been struggling to pay lawyers. Struggling. Oh, I have to give it all up. Like right now, I lost my car in the storm. I'm barely making it. So it's so much going on trying to get my
you lost your car in that hurricane that came through and flooded the state?
Yeah, I have an electric car.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. And those are expensive. Those are expensive. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So I broke my leg. So I've been riding my bike to court, back and forth to court every couple of days.
Yeah.
If I don't show up, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna take my children. So I try to show up to everything.
How many children do you have?
I have 5. I have no family. I have no help. I have nobody to turn to. When I tell you they drugged me. I was crying every day. I cried. They don't have my kids since March. I haven't seen my kids. I seen my kids actually twice since March. And it's hurtful. Like, I have no help, no family, nobody to turn to. It's hard. Like, nobody to talk to, especially.
Yeah. I'm so sorry you're going through all that. I wish you could wave a wand and make you feel better and stuff there. But I admire you to continue with your schooling. I admire you to be a single parent raising 5 children. And if one of them turns out to be a sour apple, you can only do so much. And hopefully they will figure it out that it's not as great as it is to be away from you. Children don't realize.
Can you ask that lady, do she have an email that I can email her? Because I need to ask her.
Yeah, KK Richardson. She has a podcast herself. It's Akima Richardson. And in fact,
if she just posted it, I can just copy it. And
she's on Facebook. She's on Facebook as Akima Richardson.
I don't have no social media. Like, I don't.
Okay.
I
understand.
Home and
I understand. Well, what you can do, by the way, by you calling in, you qualified for a free 15-minute Zoom private meeting with my attorney, Vincent Davis, who is one of the best dependency attorneys in the country. And all I really need from you is going to be your phone number, your full name, and your email. And I'll have my show producer, Grace, line up a 15-minute free session. He gives a free session. He will talk to you, and he will help you navigate. And he's the expert. He has won cases with lawsuits against CPS, both in state and federal court.
I felt like I was discriminated against, like, in this whole situation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to keep it real, sir. I don't mean to cut you off. But when I seen CPS come, they come one police. It was actually one police first. Do you know they surrounded the neighborhood?
Oh, they do.
20 police?
They, you know what happens? The police have been so exaggerating. I was so near your neighborhood. I don't know how far Gainesville is from Clearwater, but Gainesville had a case where the sheriff came out to invest domestic violence. He had the wrong home. He shot a black airman, 23 years old, back on May 3rd of this year. And his mother in Alabama was in tears. And, he was just shot. He was talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime, and now he's dead. And they said, well, we fired him. We fired the sheriff. He has a lawsuit. Is that going to bring back the black airman? No. There was a black lady not too long ago, a month or two ago, that shot in the face 5 times. They're arguing over washing dishes. And the sheriff had come in their place. That's why I tell people, don't open the door. Don't let anybody in your home.
It was so crazy. I didn't open the door. What happened is I was upstairs cleaning up my children's room, and I have 4 rooms. And I can't, you know how you like cleaning up and you throwing everything down, like, I smoke. Yeah. So like, I was like bending over. So like everything was rushing to my head. So by the time I, got up, My son went downstairs and opened the door. I guess he was going to go throw some trash out the door. And all of them walked in my house.
I know
They just put me in
they're not
handcuffs.
supposed to do that. Yeah, they're supposed to. I agree. It's probably partly because the Clearwater Police, I don't know too much about them, but were they
Largo Sheriff Department.
were they the sheriff department? Because sheriffs are sometimes Billy bad people. I can't use
they
the
were
word.
so nasty to me.
Yeah, they
I'm
are.
asking for a deputy, and they telling me that there is no deputy. I can't talk to nobody else. That's what they told me. I couldn't talk to nobody else.
You could talk to a supervisor or chief. I mean, this is terrible.
I don't call the police.
Yeah.
I don't call the Largo Sheriff Department, try to file a complaint. They told me that I couldn't file a complaint.
Well, that's not true, and I think
they
you
even
can.
coerced my kids on a video I seen on the video. They told my kids to shut up and to tell them that I did hit them. They coerced my kids into saying that I did hit them. Cut off the body cam for 30 minutes and then turned it back on. Now, mind you, when they got here, they already had a charge of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Then they changed it from domestic violence to third-degree felony. Then they turned off the body cams. They went in there and kept questioning my kids, terrifying my kids, everything. They kept coming back and forth. I'm in the back of the police car. I watched this whole thing. They kept turning on and off the dash cam.
Yeah, someone, KK Richardson said you need to put a warrant on that child that's going wild to save the other children. You got to put a warrant on him.
What?
She said put a warrant on the child that's smoking weed.
They said I couldn't. The sheriff department told me that I couldn't do anything.
Really?
That's what they said it to me on the 15th. Yeah, that's what they said.
He's a minor. He's a minor. You should have asked the sheriff department.
They said if he never got in trouble, I don't call scared straight. I don't email this judge that work listen, sir, I don't did it all. I don't try to take my vehicle to go take all my children to scared straight. They denied me. I don't try everything.
Yeah,
they denied me. I even dropped out of college just to make sure my children be all right. I even got my son baptized before he started doing all of this.
Yeah.
I did it all, and I was turned down as a black mother. You don't understand having this type of skin. You get turned down. It's not that easy.
I know you do, and it's wrong.
And people think it, and that's why they said that I got proof that I don't call the police several times on myself. I don't want the family members. They don't turn me down. They don't laugh at me. This is the reason I'm in this now, because I went to a family member, and the family member don't like me. I haven't talked to these people in 16 years. Mind you, I just needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
About my son smoking weed.
Yeah, I understand.
But okay, thank you for talking to me.
Well, no, you don't need to. You don't need to go. You don't need to go. I know that we're getting close to the time. You're right. It's almost close to 8 o'clock. In fact, I think it's after 8. But can you send me your name, your full name, and your phone number and your email, and so I can get you that 15 minutes with Vincent Davis. Also, I want you also to calling again tomorrow. I'll be on at 10 o'clock. Akima Richardson, KK Richardson, if you're out there, can you tell how she can get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a hold of you, Akima? I do have your number somewhere, but I haven't looked at it in a long time, so I may not have it there. But Akima, do you have a place that she can get a hold of you? She wants to talk to you, Akima, from Brooklyn, New York. KK? Let's see what she says. It says anything there. Hold on a second here. I'm trying to get Akima to. Okay, Akima, if you hear me, how can Ishay get a hold of you, KK? How can she get a hold of you? Margaret King wants to say something. She's from St. Louis, Missouri, and she's had a horrible case. I'm hearing from many other parents the same situation with their children run away, or their parents harboring their hideaway child, placing the parents at risk from getting arrested. Yeah, that's true there. But KK, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm trying to hold on, Ishay. I'm trying to get KK Akima Richardson. Let me see here. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my phone. I got your number here, and I'm going to give your number, if it's okay with you, to KK Richardson, and she can contact you. Also, when you send me your phone number and your name, your email, I'll forward it on to a KK. But we'll be on again tomorrow. We'll be on again tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning and then 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Okay?
All right.
And I'm so glad that you called in. And if you are lonely, want to talk, call me on these show times. I'm here for you, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
God bless you, and thank you for calling in. Okay, I got to end my podcast. I've gone an hour. I started my show here a little bit late, but I've given you a full hour. So thank you, KK Richardson. If you could give me your number, I can get you in touch with Ishay. Margaret from St. Louis, thank you very much. Betty Witterhole from Montana, thank you. See who else I'll leave out here. I think that was it of all my people tonight. Margaret from St. Louis, thank you very much. Again, God bless y'all. There'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis, and I will see you tomorrow. Please keep fighting for your children. You will get it, all right? God bless y'all. This is Bob Pace signing off.
All right.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.